Hello everyone. I am coming on here right now to talk about something that has been coming up a lot lately, and it's about what this business is really about. And we talk a lot about heart, we talk a lot about soul, we talk a lot about how to set your intention to get out there to the world because they need our voice. We talk a lot about, you know, not being afraid of no, because let's face it, the world out there has been duped to believe a lot of lies that, you know, the industry, the health industry, the pharmaceutical industry, the government, the commercials, the marketing has all fed the Western culture. And our job is to be educators of that. But right now, I don't want to talk about that. Right now, what I want to talk about is what this business is really about, and it's about a lot of things. One aspect of that that maybe we don't talk enough about is builders, bringing on builders. Not you being a builder, because you are a builder, but bringing on people who is going to partner with you on this. If you find yourself not having builders and it's been a year, then you are not doing this business the way that it was meant for. This business was meant for you to be a leader of leaders. That's the pinnacle point. But if you aren't, sorry, that's a firework. Boom! Must have been just such a good point. I mean, boom! Drop the mic. Hello, Nadia. If you find yourself being a leader of sharers, then you are doing this business wrong. And I say that tongue-in-cheek, you know, take this with a grain of salt. I'm going to be really adamant about this point today because, you know, again, I talk a lot about all the things. But listen, if you find yourself, hi Carrie, if you find yourself constantly being the one to do the work and hitting, you know, these ranks of executive and elite and premier and silver, and you have no builders but you have sharers, then may I suggest you refocus your attention right now. Because this business is not about you going out there and doing all the selling. That's not your job. Your job is to partner with people. And if you haven't yet done that, then focus on that for the next month. Your job for the rest of this month is to focus on how to be a better leader that people will want to follow, how to inspire your leaders. You know, I've heard it said on social media that our job is not to inspire, and I think that's a whole lot of hogwash. If you are not inspiring as a leader, nobody's going to want to follow you. And it's easy for people to say that who are presidential diamonds. Oh, our job is not to inspire, our job is to... What? Our job is to inspire the masses so that they can touch the things that we're able to touch as DoTERRA representatives. Our job is to get out there and say, listen, who will follow, not me, but who will follow their own hearts? That's our job, is to be leader of people who first become customers sometimes, then become sharers because they can't help it, right? Because our product is so amazing. And then become builders, and then they themselves become leader of leaders. And our job is to become a leader of leaders who are leaders of leaders. That's the ultimate pinnacle point of DoTERRA. And if you're out there and you're the only one on your team selling, and you can see on your team tab in your back office, you go to your team tab, and you'll see at the top, well, you'll see within that area, because I don't exactly, I mean, I know where it is if I'm looking at it, but to describe it, you'll see where it talks about how many enrollments you have. You'll also see your overall volume, how many new wellness advocates you have, and you know, minus that with yours. And maybe if you have an elephant leg, we call an elephant leg one team that's being amazing, you know, we all have them. My leg is Holly. But what are your other legs doing? And if you just have one leg, you know, I have 2 elephant legs actually. So one is Holly, one is Jane. But my interest is that my whole team rises together. And I'm not satisfied if I just have one team that's giving me a unilevel or residual income. I mean, that's not what I signed up for, is to have one team that succeeds. I'm a leader of leaders. I'm a leader of builders. I'm a leader of sharers. Woo! Boom! I don't know, I'm just saying this is like perfect timing. There's a fiesta happening today, so for the last hour, those were not happening, and then all of a sudden, boom, here I am, and it's coming. So let me just read what people are saying. Get a bit of thought. I've found I pour my heart into biz opportunity posts. If you guys have questions about this, please ask them too. I found I pour my heart into my business opportunity posts, and it's been attracting people who are really scared to do this and don't follow through. I've realized intentions need to be super clear. Yes, Julie says, bam, yeah, you are. So listen, I hope this serves you. I mean, again, if you have questions, I'll stay on for a bit, but I know the truth is that I'm like, my business is not going to thrive if I don't bring in leaders, and first customers, then sharers, then builders, then leaders. And this progression should happen really fast. I'm not saying overnight, but it shouldn't be longer than a year that your customers aren't turning into builders. If they're not, then maybe you're not that leader that needs to be progressing yourself. Maybe you're the one who's not progressing, and therefore how can your team progress if you yourself are not progressing? And I see again, it makes me sad to hear people say, our job is not to inspire, because then it takes us off the hook, doesn't it? And doesn't that feel good? Oh, it's not my job to inspire, so it's your fault, it's not my fault. Well, listen, if I owned Tim Hortons and my employees were showing up completely sad and depressed and heavy, and I had people who were just feeling heavy in life, I would be a terrible Tim Hortons owner. I say Tim Hortons because I'm Canadian. I would be a terrible Tim Hortons owner if I just didn't care about the people who came in. If I didn't invest everything that I had into those employees, because you and I both know that if my employees aren't happy, then the customers are not happy. And so if you have a team of people and they're not happy with either doTERRA, the business, they're not happy with the way that customer service is talking to them, then your job is to help them be super happy. And again, let me just leave you off the hook in some things. You can't control the outcome of it. But don't let yourself off the hook and say, it's not my job to inspire, so therefore, if I am not doing anything, it's not my fault. If they're not doing anything, it's not my fault. It's not me. I'm fine. Look at me. I'm doing all the things. I'm doing all the work. I'm doing all the enrolling. But then you have these leaders, and they're sad, and they're heavy, and they're not inspired by doTERRA because they don't even care. They're not inspired by you because you don't even care. You're just like, hey, if you're not inspired, that's your fault, not mine. Do you see the difference in, okay, fine, it's not my job for the outcome of the inspiration, but I'm going to do my darndest to show up to you every single day that I can, because this is my business. And if I owned a restaurant and you showed up and you were sad, mark my words, I would take you behind in my manager's office and I would say, how the heck are you doing? Are you okay? What's going on? What can I do? What can I do to help you? Because listen, you're out there and you're really sad, and there's some negativity happening, and the customers are coming in and they're feeling that heaviness from you. What can I do to support you? And listen, there's going to be people who are going to come to you behind that door, behind that manager's office, and they're going to be like, my dog died, and this died, and my house burnt down, and all the birds of the forest died, and they're going to just feel this heaviness and sadness. Your job is not to hold their energy. Your job is to stay in your light, and hold space for them. Don't drop down to them. You don't need to stay in that negative energy that they have. Your job is to stay in your light and do what you can. And at the end of the day, if that employee doesn't hear you, doesn't find the things that you have to say is inspiring, knowing yourself that you've been working on your leadership. If you haven't been working on your leadership, then hey, this is a two-way street and you both have to figure this out. But if you know that you've been working on your leadership skills, that you know that you've been inviting them to places, that you've been, reaching out to them and they're still not doing it, then at the end of the day, you might, as a restaurant owner, not in doTERRA, but as a restaurant owner, your tough job is maybe to fire them. You may have to let them go. And that's a tough decision to make. Because now you have to, you have to do the hard work of marketing new clients, not new clients, sorry, you have to market new employees. You have to get out there. You have to find out who's going to be the best employee. This is your business. You own this business. And if somebody is not working the way that you feel they should, and you're doing all of the things that is necessary, and you find that their team is being negative because maybe there's stuff going on, your job isn't to judge them. Your job is to put their arm around them. Your job is to restore your relationship with them, because sometimes when we have a negative relationship with them, that's going to spill into their team. But what if you showed up in full love, without judgment, and you cared for them in a way that they've never been cared for before? And you maybe even opened your eyes to the post that I said yesterday, go look for it, that maybe they're mirroring something about you that you don't even like. And that's why there's friction. Maybe not. Who knows? I don't believe that anybody's in our life by accident. And so what if you served them in a way that they have never been served before? It's your business. It's your job to grow it. It's your job to inspire the masses. And if you're not doing that, what are they here for? Most people don't come to doTERRA just for the product alone, even though that's why they come to doTERRA in the beginning. They come because of you. And if you're negative, and if you're heavy, and if you're just like, oh, I don't want to do this, and oh, I'm just so sad all the time, and oh, life sucks, and oh, it's not working for me, and oh, this is not happening for me, and oh, then you know what? I'm not going to be very inspired by you either. So I can't fire you. That's the difference between this job and owning a restaurant. I can't fire you, and I wouldn't want to. But sometimes I have to move on. I have teams that I've had to move on, and I've tried my darndest to work on myself in order that I can restore a relationship. And here's the thing, if you're letting somebody go, and the reason why you feel, this is a little tidbit of information, okay? If you and them are clashing, you need to ask questions of that. You need to be curious about that. I've clashed with some of my leaders, and I have done all of the questions, all of the curiosity. What is it about me that's causing this to clash? Because mark my words, there's people out there who are going to be negative no matter what. But why are you attracting them into your life? Okay? So you may agree or disagree with me, but guess what? I don't even care. This is my video. And I want you to just ask questions about what I'm saying. Okay? Because this is an important topic. And I think we take all of our responsibility and we leave it in the hands of fate. And I just think that it's just too much. Let me just hear some more questions here. Crystal, I have mixed feelings about that. I've heard of a leader say it's not our job to inspire, but rather to keep ourselves inspired. But that in turn will naturally just inspire others. So not exhausting ourselves strictly on inspiring others, because let's face it, some people just don't get the doTERRA vision, and it's tiring to try so hard and then not want it for themselves. So maybe we need to define what it means to inspire others. Because I have met, here's one, let me give you an example of two different leaders. One leader is all out there telling their leaders what to do. Okay? They're like, here's what you do, here's what you do, here's what you do. They don't really do much personal discovery, so they're just like, this is who I am, I can't help it, take me for as I am, it's not my fault, this is what I'm doing, you're mad at me, it's not my fault that you're mad at me, I didn't mean to do that, it's not my fault, you're mad for no reason. And then you have another person who comes along and they make mistakes, but they're working their darndest on showing up to their team and saying, you are amazing, you are incredible, you are worthy, you are worthy of more, you are worthy of greatness. You need to come to this doTERRA meeting. You need to come to convention. You need to, because if you don't know what you're gonna miss. And they show up, okay? So there's two different leaders. And people get mad at them and they're like, oh shoot, somebody's mad at me. And I hate when people are mad at me, but I'm gonna surrender because, you know, I can't take responsibility for everybody's anger at me. But what if you leaned into it and asked questions of it? Because I guarantee you, if somebody's mad at me, I'm asking questions of it. What happened? What do I need to surrender of it? What do I need to let go? What part about this did I misunderstand? What part did they maybe misunderstand? And that I can say, listen, I'm sorry. Like this is the way that I understood it, and I totally misread you. Help me understand you so that we can fix this. Like, is that really hard for people? You know, sometimes we have to do this. Like, there's honestly, I know, okay? I know that there's people out there. We're not talking about the people out there, the outliers, the maybe 2 to 3% of people who are just like on your last nerve, okay? These are people who just don't get it. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about normal people. They may be normal too. They've just been hurt a lot. The difference between the two is that one is saying, I'm showing up to do the work of what I can do in this business to inspire. I'm reaching out to my team. This person is saying, wait, which person am I? Oh gosh, this is a train wreck. This person is actually the one who's like, I don't care if anybody's mad at me. I don't care. I'm going to show up and I'm just going to do what I'm going to do, and I don't care about anybody. That is different than the person who's showing up and caring about the outcome because it's your business, right? We're not talking about friendship here. Friendship is a different thing. If you get inspired yourself, yes, you're going to inspire others. But is that really all our job is? Is our job really just to inspire ourselves? What do we do with that inspiration? What do we do with the inspiration that's within us? Who are we being inspired by? I can be inspired by Timbuktu, and he could lead me totally in the wrong direction, and my business isn't working. So is our job just to be inspired, therefore we're going to inspire others? That's just, it cuts itself off right there. So let me just explain it. So I go to a Tony Robbins thing, right? Totally inspired, and he's like, you need to rise, and you need to da-da-da-da-da, and you need to get out there, and you need to walk on hot coals. Never do that again. You need to do all these things. And then you go home and you're like, okay, I'm inspired, so I'm just going to automatically inspire my team. What? It just seems so frivolous. It seems so taking ownership of your entrepreneurial business. That's not our job. Our job is not to just merely be inspired. What are we going to do with that? That leaves it so open to, how do I explain it? It leaves it so open to just running off and maybe succeeding, maybe not. It's not my fault if I don't succeed, because I'm inspired. So if nobody's inspired by my inspire, that's their fault, not mine. That's just so backwards. Listen, I get the premise, okay? I just think it lacks so much balance in this business. Let me tell you, when I first started, there was 3 builders, all of which were amazing, and you know, I became founders because of these amazing builders. And 2 of the 3 that I'm thinking of that were in the beginning thrived. Like, they were just thriving. They're still thriving to this day. One of them was mad at me, and I was just like, no, it's not your fault. You don't get me. You just don't understand me. And therefore, I'm just gonna let you be to your own vice. And if you don't want doTERRA, then that's your problem. Like, you can see how this can go. And I think I'm a pretty intelligent person. I think I'm not the most intelligent, you know, kid on the block, but I think I have something. I think I have intuition. I think that I have a heart for people, and I had such a heart for this person, but at the end of the day, it was up to them to come. But at the end of the next day, it was up to me to move toward them and say, what can I do for you? What is your dream? What is your why? What can this mean for you? Do you even know? And maybe it's because I have been in the health industry for a long time now. I'm used to people saying no to me, and I don't take no for an answer. And so some people will hear this like, oh, you must inspire. And Christelle, you're right, it's open to interpretation. But that interpretation is so loose, it's so loosey-goosey, that I can just see. It's so easy for people to say that who have already succeeded. That's all I'm saying. I've heard the same thing like, oh, don't place builders under builders, or don't place builders under sharers, and don't ever place builders under. And I'm like, wait a minute, you're a presidential diamond who's making a unilevel check of over $1 million a year. And we're sitting here in the beginning of our business, and we have no one else to place them under because we only have sharers. And you're telling me that I can't place a builder under them? Or I can't place somebody under them, and therefore my organization's going to be a complete mess and disaster, because where am I going to place them? Especially because I just enrolled 10 people. How am I going to do this? Well, I can't place them. So then I have this like huge, you know, disorganized structure. The point is that it's easy to say from somebody who's already succeeded. So any advice that you hear from out there, make sure that it's coming from somebody who not just has succeeded, but is actually present with their builders. Meaning, like, are you with your executives? Are you with your elites? Are you with your premiers? Because if not, and you have this place of, it's not my job to help my leaders, it's their job to help themselves kind of attitude, I just don't think you're gonna grow very fast. Man, when I first started doTERRA, I was all freaking in. I did whatever I could. If my builder wanted me to go travel 2 hours to bring them an oil, I would do it. If my builder had a class and they needed me to go and teach their class for them, I'd friggin' do it. If my leader said, listen, I can't do this class, and I could be so frustrated with that, and they said, listen, I'm sick, or my kid did this, or da-da-da-da-da, I would do whatever it took for me to get out there and say, don't worry, I've got your back. I've got your back. I've got your back. I have team that have been with me for 5 years. I still have their back, you guys. They may not be succeeding, but I've got their back. And I may not drive 2 hours, but maybe only because they don't ask me to. Don't ask me that. I hope you guys hear my heart in this. Man, it's not our job to drag people. And I think that's maybe the difference between inspiring and dragging. We're not meant to drag people. But we're sure as heck, in this business, if you really want it to succeed, you're gonna do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Because I did. And you talk to anybody who succeeded, they did whatever it took. And they made mistakes along the way. And so now they're like, oh, wait a minute, these mistakes, don't do these mistakes. Now you stop doing this because that's not your job. But along the way, that's exactly what they did to get to the place where they're now in success, saying the very things that they did in order to get there. I feel like I need to repeat it, but I'm not even sure I'm going to remember it. Let me try. The people who have succeeded, all of them stumbled towards success. All of them fell forward. All of them. And now they're saying, wait a minute, I made so many mistakes. Don't do the mistakes that I made. I've even said it. But those very mistakes were the things that made me succeed. Those very mistakes were the things that got me to where I am today. I'm not going to now change it and say, hey, wait, don't do this. When I say things that, listen, learn from my mistakes, it's never about don't do it the way I did it. It's don't worry, I did it as a mess, and so can you. If you're sitting here and it's been 2 years and you're sitting there and you don't have one builder who's as into your business as you, then what are you doing doTERRA for? In network marketing, the beauty of it is that you have, let's just say 3 builders Your 1 hour turns into 4 hours because you've got 3 people doing 1 hour. 4 times 4 is 4 times 1 hour is 4 hours. That's 4 extra hours. Does that make sense? Is it ringing true for people? But if you are doing 1 hour and nobody's exponentially growing your business, what are you doing? So today, I'm going to finish with this. Today, your job is to figure it out. You know what? If you don't want to inspire people, don't inspire them. I don't care. But if it's not working for you, if what you're doing is not working for you, then just be careful of who you're listening to. All right? Understand that our job is to be a leader, and leaders inspire. They may not do it intentionally. Maybe they do it unintentionally because they themselves are inspired. But man, I've been inspired a lot, and I sometimes have to force myself to come on here and chat because I know that it's needed. And so I'm like, oh, you know, I don't have makeup on, and so I don't want to go on there, and oh, I don't want to go and inspire my team because I don't know what to say, and oh, I'm just, you know, what, they're gonna make fun of me because I'm not gonna be on top. Like, do you hear how much I stumble in this video? I don't care. If I waited for me to be like this massive inspired being, and then once I'm massively inspired, then it'll naturally come. Sometimes I gotta work at it. Sometimes I gotta come on here working at my job. Sometimes I gotta get out there even when I don't want to. Don't wait until you're inspired to get in front of your team and tell them that they're amazing, to figure out how to move, to open themselves up to their why, to invite them, to do whatever you can to invite them to a doTERRA conference, and do whatever it takes to get them there. Don't wait until you have everything, all your P's and Q's in order to go and cheerlead your team. I love you. Okay, I'm done. Sometimes we all just need a little kick in the butt. If you don't have builders, what are you doing? You're just an employee of doTERRA. That's not what we're here for. We're not just sales representatives, you guys. That's not what we're doing in doTERRA. So stop it. Take the rest of this month to figure out who are leading people, why are they leading people, how are they inspiring people, how do you inspire people? But more importantly, after you do those things or during you figuring that out, get to know the people who are on your team who are already sold on the oils, because those are your next builders, those are your next sharers, those are your next partners. And if they're not there, then keep going out there day after day and find people who are going to fall in love with this product, who will then be your partner. That's your job. Don't be a sales rep. Be a network marketing genius. Love you. Bye.